Shannon with the Shannon Jones Team at Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here today with Aliye Aydin, who has a website, agoodcarrot.com. She's a local chef here in Long Beach, and hosts pop-up backyard dinners and does some catering. Has a company called the Spice Club, and you may know her also as the owner of the former company Beach Greens. So when you think of all things wonderful food, think Aliye. And the reason that I wanted to have a chat with Aliye is that I know both for myself and then also from looking at other people's Instagram and Facebook feeds that we're all cooking at home more than we normally do. And so for me and my husband, it's been a bit of a challenge to plan ahead because that's not how we usually roll. And so Aliye, what kind of tips can you share with people who are cooking at home more about how to kind of navigate that?
Right. Thanks, Shannon. So what I would say is to take a few minutes each week to actually sit down with a pen and paper or your phone memo or however you do things like that and write down what you want to eat. And I have a little system that I use for that, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But I think the number one thing is taking the time. And it doesn't have to be hours. The planning doesn't take hours. Usually it's about maybe 30 minutes. Where you sit down and say, you look at your week and you're like, okay, this is what's going to be happening. I'm going to be busy during this time, not busy during this dinner time, and go from there. But the number one thing I say to people is that it takes time. You can't just expect, you can pull it out of the air, but it's very challenging, especially if you're, say, going to the grocery store. And you're like, oh, I'll just figure it out when I get there. That's never a good idea, right? Especially now, but it never was in general, because often you're hungry, you don't know what you want to eat, you're totally tempted by everything around you. So I think just taking 15 to 30 minutes to plan per week for what you are going to eat that week, at least an outline, is really helpful just in lowering your stress level around meal planning in general.
And I would say, especially with sometimes, people encountering more limited options, and that seems
Right.
to have gotten a little bit better. But do you recommend that people have kind of a plan B? If I can't find this, then
you can. I'm also, though, not an over planner. So like, for example, the pasta that I normally buy right now, I haven't been able to find it. Big deal. I've just been buying the brown rice pasta on the shelf. The first time I went, there was no like wheat pasta.
Yeah.
And I just literally grabbed what there was. We eat both wheat pasta and brown rice pasta. So I just grabbed the brown rice one and I knew it was fine. So I think being flexible is kind of the mindset to enter into, and making that choice then and there and not agonizing over it. Like if they don't have what you want, okay, fine. Either buy something that's maybe not ideal in this time, that wouldn't be the number one thing you'd buy, or just kind of move on from there. And like you said, it's gotten better. The first couple of weeks were kind of a little gnarly, but now it's gotten better. There's at least a little more choice on the shelves.
Right.
I'm finding.
I was beginning to wonder if I would ever see potatoes or onions again.
I know. I know. Well, I do have to say my solution for that is farmers markets. Farmers markets are 100%. I'm in Long Beach. I'm going to the downtown one on Fridays. There is nobody there. And the farmers are showing up every week, and the managers are pulling in farmers that have those basics you're talking about. The potatoes and the onions are specifically pulling farmers into the markets for the items that they have. And everybody's super spaced apart, and all the markets are organized so that you can't actually touch any of the produce yourself. It's all being served up by the farmers. Oh. So to me, it's way better because it's open air and you're not around as many people.
Well, so you're getting, fresh.
Super fresh.
Yeah, locally
super fresh
produce.
Yeah, and most of the time the guy will be able to tell you, or girl will say, oh yeah, we picked that yesterday. Or, you're talking either to the farmer or someone who works pretty closely with the farmer. And the freshness, you're right, just can't be beat. I've had amazing asparagus lately. I look forward to tomorrow when I get to go get some more. It's been really good.
Well, this is a great time of year for asparagus.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Do you find, because I know you feature a lot of recipes on your site, and
yes.
And I've used some, especially some of the ones that incorporate the spices from the Spice Club.
Yes.
Our favorite, and I think we've reordered it a couple times, is
yes.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the Tuesday night blend, the all-purpose blend.
Oh, that's
Yep.
wonderful, especially on chicken. I highly recommend
Yes,
that.
I agree.
Yeah. But what are some of the recipes that have maybe been, I know internet traffic overall right now is up because
Right.
we're all, spending a lot of time online.
Yeah.
But what are some of your more popular recipes and what have you seen happen with traffic on those?
Well, traffic overall on my website is like tripled. What I do, healthy dinner ideas, is suddenly extremely relevant. So I'm not complaining. But the number one recipes that people have gone to and are continuing to go to on my site are the Turkish recipes. So I'm half Turkish. I cook a lot of Turkish recipes and kind of Mediterranean style overall. So one of my number one recipes on my website is this Turkish style kebab. That gets the most amount of traffic ever. And then a lot of there's a Turkish kebab, a chicken kebab recipe on there that gets a ton of traffic. And also one of my top ones is this miso mustard dressing that was popularized by a few kind of bigger names in the food world. But I have a recipe posted for it on there. And it's a really simple recipe and it can be put on lots of things. It can be used as a dressing. It can be used as a marinade. It can be used as a dip as well. So it's a really yummy. You just kind of tweak the oil ratio and liquid ratio in it and use it for all kinds of things. So that's been a really popular one as well. One of my favorites. It's really good. And it can be made using things that are in your fridge. So a lot of times people will buy miso and use it for like one recipe and then it sits in their fridge forever. And same with mustard. I mean, everybody has mustard in their fridge, right? And that's pretty much it. Miso, mustard, some oil, couple other things, and that's pretty much all you need. Most of my recipes are simple that way, 5 or 6 ingredients.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot. Yeah.
So other than, kind of just getting out a notepad and pen and, browsing online, what are some other things that people can do to just really be prepared and make sure that they, although you may be flexible, maybe you plan something for Wednesday and then you don't feel like Wednesday's meal.
Right.
But to have a general outline and general plan so that at the end of the day, you won't be going,
right.
What am I going to do tonight?
I am a big, should I show my meal planning guide here?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great.
Yeah, because this will explain it well. It's laid out. Let me get there. So here, can you see that?
I can.
All right, so this is the meal planning guide that's available on my website if you join my email list. And it's 4 pages. You see here, meal planning guide. But second page, it tells you how to use it. And what I suggest people do first, and this is the planning part I was talking about, taking 15 to 30 minutes for the week, is brainstorming. So you want to sit down and think about what you like to eat. What flavors do you want? What sounds good to you? Because those are the things that you're going to want to cook when it comes down to it, right? So I always suggest have a brainstorming session either alone or with those that you're eating with in your house and fill out something like this here, right? So, we really love that pasta dish, or, you remember that chicken dish we made, but we haven't made it in a while. Kind of fill this out, loosely. We love making hero sandwiches. That's a great dinner for us. Et cetera, et cetera. So just take a little bit of time to kind of brainstorm that. And then I have a few recipe ideas here that are linked to kind of get your juices flowing, but you might have your own ideas too. And then after you have that kind of brainstorm up here in these boxes, what I suggest doing then is organizing it. So you have all your ideas, and then you need to kind of look at your calendar, your schedule for the week and say, okay, well, most people are home a lot right now, but maybe you have a work call at 6 p.m. or maybe you have a dance class call at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So you won't be cooking dinner then. So kind of try to look at the meals that you've planned and look at how long are they going to take me? What am I going to feel like eating on that day? Am I going to want to eat a big meal before I have a dance class in my living room or a yoga class in my living room? Or is that going to be a lighter day? So kind of figure that out based upon your brainstorm, what goes here. Or maybe you're like, I'm cooking at home 3 days and the rest of them we're getting takeout. Totally fine. So just kind of make your plan here, make a shopping list.
And I think that's a great idea. That's a great point because a lot of us, yes, we're cooking at home, but we still want to support some of the local restaurants that we love.
Yeah, and they're struggling too. I think that's totally a great thing. And it also gives us time off. We're eating 3 meals a day at home. that's a lot of meals if you weren't doing that before, you know. So I think it's totally fine to take it slow. And I don't recommend, if you're not cooking a lot at home, to overwhelm yourself. Go to the store, buy all the things, and then come home, and a week later you haven't cooked half of it's rotting in your fridge. Like, that's not a good scenario either. Absolutely. So I would suggest starting slow. Mm-hmm. What's that?
So work up to
it if it's not something you're already regularly doing. Even for me, we cook dinner almost every night at home, but now it's all of us are home for breakfast and all of us are home for lunch. So it's like splitting between, are we really doing 3 hot meals a day? Or are we going to do some really simple stuff for lunches, which is generally what it ends up being.
It's a lot of togetherness and a lot of prepping.
Yeah, a lot of prepping, definitely. And then the third thing, speaking of prepping, I call it prep and post. So I'm taking this from the food industry. When you work as a chef in the food industry, you come into the kitchen and you write what's called your prep list for the day, sometimes for the week, but often for the day. So you know that you have to roast the carrots and steam the this and marinate the that. And it kind of just puts down in one place everything you need to do so you can get your mind around it. And I use that at home too, because at home I'm working solid like 3 or 4 hour stints on the computer before I take breaks. And in those breaks I can say, oh, I can take 10 minutes to cut the vegetables for dinner so that when dinner comes around, it's done. It's prepped. It's in the fridge. I pull it out and I just start cooking. So that's what I mean by the prep lists here. Like I said, you don't have to do it every day. Or this also refers to, say you're going to take one day to cook. So you're going to make 3 things on Sunday, and that's going to be what you reheat for the rest of the week, right? So Sunday you're going to make a soup, and you're going to make a salad that will last, and you're going to make one other thing and reheat them throughout the week. So this just kind of helps you organize when you're doing what, so that you don't feel overwhelmed by it when it comes around.
That's great. That's really a great tool, a great idea.
Yeah, and then the last thing, I say post, and by post, I don't mean on social media, which you obviously can do, but by post, I mean post.
That's what you're meaning, though.
I know, I wrote that, and I was like, dang, that's the wrong word. But what I mean is post it in your kitchen. I use a little chalkboard, or I have like a whiteboard too, or if I have scribbled it down on a piece of paper, I will write the meal plan for the week on that. And besides helping me know, like, oh, Tuesday night, oh, right, that's what we're having. I don't have to rethink it. And also it helps other people in my house. As mom, they're like, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? And I can be like, look at the thing. Or I can look at the thing and say, oh, it's Tuesday night. We're having chicken soup. Or they can look at it and go, ooh, yum, chicken soup for dinner. You know, and it's like, yeah, that's great. And then they can actually get involved in helping. Can I help you chop the onion for that? Or is there anything you need me to do for the chicken soup that we're making tonight? You know, like kind of sharing the responsibility. And I find that by posting that in the kitchen, even just like magnet, refrigerator, whatever, it helps everybody, even if the person who's mainly in charge of it or if it's being shared. So yeah, that's kind of my 3-step process, is to brainstorm, organize it, and then prep list it and post it. That's what I use.
Is eating it.
Right. Step 4, that's a given.
Absolutely.
That's a given.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Well, those are some wonderful tips.
Oh, good.
I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. And,
yeah.
Stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in person when we can.
Yeah, definitely. And you can get that download that meal planning guide on my website at agoodcarrot.com.
Okay.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
So
we will see you.
agoodcarrot.com or to the farmer's market.
Yeah, that works too.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Alrighty. Thanks, Shannon.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.